Hi, my name is Marcos Lugo. I'm with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, the Asheville branch. Okay, well, this event is basically a rally, people unified against the abortion bans that are taking place across the country, against, the abortion bans in Texas, and just things that are undermining women's rights, particularly in the area of abortion. And that's why we're here. It was a rally and a march, and that's what we're here for. Oh, well, I think that, yeah, we know when it comes to people of color and things like anti-abortion, just any laws that criminalize activity, the people usually that suffer the most are always people of color, brown-skinned people, the Latin community, the African-American community. We know that, as they say, if America, if America, white America's got a cold, we've got the COVID basically as far as communities. We suffer the greatest brunt. Anything that affects just the general welfare in health or in every other aspect when things are essentially criminalized. Okay, you can look us up on Facebook. We're the Party for Socialism and Liberation. We're nationwide, but I would definitely go to our Facebook page if you're in Asheville, and send us a message, and we will be glad to, talk to you and see you in the streets.
These communities to these particular types of laws, and that as we heard during the rally today, we heard a couple of speakers talk about how this is forced birth. It is the extraction of free reproductive labor, the exploitation of the labor of Latinx people is, of course, one of the driving forces for the. It's one of the driving forces behind the discrimination and abuse that Latin families face. It is it is a major driver of the violence that we see inflicted by law enforcement on communities of color, on Latinx communities, on black communities. And that's why it's really vital that we bring these voices into the movement for reproductive freedom, for reproductive rights, for the fight for for access to abortion. It's why we need to, for folks that cannot travel, that cannot go across state lines, that can't even take those risks, because if they're undocumented, the further they go, the more chances that they run where they're going to encounter law enforcement, where they're going to encounter people who might inflict violence on them, that might place them in incarceration, that might put them into the ICE detention system, into the deportation pipeline, all of those risks that we know exist. So it is vital that we bring the Latinx community into this movement, that they have a leading voice in it, because they suffer among the most grievous harm under our current system and under the rule of laws like the Texas SB 8 law.
And for those who be very interested in know more about work with the PSL, yeah.
So it's important for people to understand that this rally and this march is not enough, that voting is not enough, that it's time that we organize through groups like DSA, like PSL, like the Asheville Solidarity Network, like the Mountain Area Abortion Doula Collective. These are all ways to get involved to make sure that reproductive justice, gender-affirming healthcare, and Medicare for all, which includes paid for childbirth and child care, can become the reality that we're looking for today. So you can follow Asheville DSA on Facebook, on Instagram, also on Twitter. And we also have a website that is just avldsa.org. And please, I encourage you to go to the website, check it out, and find out how you can get involved with helping women, trans men, and non-binary folks get the health care that they deserve.
So what I hear and understand is that people who have the most resources are always going to have access to health care, to child care, to job security, and to be able to travel. And so an abortion ban like the one out of Texas that is anticipated to be replicated in states like ours here in North Carolina sets the bar so early in the understanding of that a person is even pregnant, that they might not even know that they're pregnant before they realize that they may need to access abortion as health care. And then will they be able to access the child care, the time off of work, or even maybe have to leave the state? Will they be able to leave and go to a place where they can access that health care? So what I understand is that the abortion ban limits the people with the least resources having access to abortion as reproductive care and for health care as a human right. So for the city of Asheville, for Buncombe County, for surrounding counties, there's very little that we can do as far as legislation or policy or budgeting. But what we can do is use our positions of power and the microphones that we have, like the one that I'm holding right now, to speak up for what is right, to reach out to our state legislatures. And then for me, it looks like standing alongside the people who are doing the work, like the Carolina Abortion Fund, that are providing resources for people in their most vulnerable spot when they need that to access abortion as part of their health care, to be able to have resources in advance. So that's one of the reasons why I show up, because there's not a lot I can do in City Hall behind me, but there's a lot I can do by showing up in solidarity, lifting up what I'm hearing from my neighbors as their needs, and then reaching out to our legislator, which is something we can all do.